You've probably seen the videos where I talk about my obnoxious gas-guzzling Ferrari, but that's not all I'm about. I also have an obnoxious gas-guzzling daily driver. But the Range Rover isn't just a daily driver. It's also one of the most capable off-roading vehicles on Earth, thanks to a series of features like this thing, and this thing, and this thing. Unfortunately, I use my Range Rover like most people use their Range Rovers. Just kidding. I do the occasional off-roading, and that's where I really use the Range Rover to its fullest. But today I've decided to see what the Range Rover can really do off the pavement, so I've met up with some friends who can show me the ropes. Well, we made it to the trail. Now it's time to assume the ready position. Initially, however, it didn't look like we'd need the ready position since the trail started off pretty easy. But things took an interesting turn when we found a mud hole of uncertain depth.
I'll bet you I can get through this.
So he tried to make it,
Damn it!
And he failed.
Yeah. It's okay, because at least you have loafers on.
And so, after a quick rescue, we were back on our way. It wasn't long before things started to get a bit more challenging. It also got a little rocky, and the resulting slow pace led to some problems. We've run into a little problem with the Land Cruiser, namely that it started to overheat. So what we're going to do is the age-old tradition of cooling it down. Drive faster. Unfortunately, the high speeds made it almost unbearable to ride in the Jeep. But things were just fine inside the Range Rover. I'm sitting here, air suspension up, air conditioning on, stereo on. The Range Rover is the perfect off-roading experience.
Every penny that you could.
Is it good cooking? Unfortunately, the increasingly difficult terrain also took its toll on the mighty Land Cruiser.
So, we just went through a rather large mud puddle, and the old 83 Land Cruiser here stalled out on us.
So the Land Cruiser went home, leaving just the Jeep and the Range Rover to press on. And press on we did. Through mud.
Wow. I hope Carmax doesn't see this.
And more mud. And even more mud. And so much mud that we broke out a measuring tape.
11 inches.
through the mud, we ran into another challenge.
Now it's getting super, super rocky. Oh. And with the rocks comes the inevitable. Dozens of rattling noises from inside the interior that I have never at any point heard before.
But rattling noises weren't the only problem. And while I probably could have used my fancy off-roading settings to help me press on, we were running short on time, so I decided to back up and head home down the mountain. So we made it back. The Range Rover is a little dirty. And the Jeep is even worse. And the Land Cruiser. But what we've learned from this experience is that off-roading can be a lot of fun, especially as you sit in your leather-appointed cabin listening to music, feeling the cool breezes of the automatic climate control, and eating cookies.